Hello everyone, I'm NTom64.
I'm the Flameclaw.
And I'm Richy.
And welcome to the HellfireComms playthrough of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Oh, it's so important I had to say the title slowly. Been very much looking forward to this one. I grabbed it on launch day. These two over here have been playing it since then. I had to wait like more than 3 days to try it for myself. The power of math, motherfucker. And yes, let's just get this out of the way. No, it's not the most graphically intensive or interesting or beautiful looking game out there. That's just how it is. We'll go into more detail on the technicalities once we get into the big old semi-open world, which is more like Monster Hunter than Breath of the Wild. But just the whole concept of Legends Arceus is something that I've wanted out of Pokemon for a very long time. The ability to interact with, battle, and capture Pokemon in essentially what is real time. Like, you still have the turn-based stuff, but it's your decision on the field to when to throw the Pokeball, when to run away, and when to interact with parts of the environment and whatnot. And, you could say this is sort of harkening back to the whole make a Pokemon MMO sort of thing. But, this is what we wanted. That sort of freedom blended with the traditional Pokemon formula. And while it's not a looker, I do think this is going to shake up the formula, and I hope to God it's brought forward into Gen 9.
There's a lot of stuff here that I feel is very much a natural evolution in a way, and this kind of... It feels like it's a complementary piece to the main competitive kind of Pokemon gameplay, and I feel like that works. It's not trying to be the same kind of thing that Pokemon always has, and that in itself freshens it up, because for years people have been ribbing on Pokemon for being, it's the same thing every time. This has a completely new setting, it has a completely new gameplay style, and it still plays to Pokemon's strengths. And I'm rambling all over the place, but I feel like what you need to know about where I'm standing is this game is absolutely wonderful. I've put hours and hours into this game, even just over the first few days.
Wow.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, effectively, to, go on the meme, it basically is Pokemon's Breath of the Wild moment. Obviously, open worlds, excitement, yay, but in terms of that whole taking a franchise that has perhaps gotten a little stale, a little bit stagnant, and just kind of completely tearing that all apart for something brand new, but which still retains the core elements of the franchise. And it could have been an unmitigated disaster. When we first initially saw it, it was a bit like, ooh, this could go one of two ways. It could either go really, really badly or really, really well. And actually, the end result is a really fun game. I am surprised by how much I am enjoying playing through Pokemon Legends Arceus. And while in pretty much every other Pokemon game, I've kind of gone, I'm not going to catch them all, that's never happening. I actually kind of feel like I might want to this time around. It has got me hooked in a way that Pokemon hasn't done for years. And that's exciting, and I think it's done the same for a lot of other people as well, because people who I've seen who have been like, Pokemon for years, are suddenly just like, oh, actually, this one's quite good.
It's like, Pokemon, yeah, kind of hype, really. Where am I? Did I just get fucking isekai'd?
That is something they actually did a really good job at covering that up before the game eventually got leaked, because it looked like it was going to be strictly a prequel and these were going to be like ancestors of the Diamond and Pearl characters. Nope, we have actually got what I presume to be the present day, slightly older Lucas from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl here.
Yes.
Got isekai'd into the past. I just think that's a fucking incredible setting for this, honestly, because it's just one of them things of, it's such a different take on what it was presented to you, and it's not often that Pokemon surprises you. Let's be real here. Pokemon as a concept has got very comfortable with its formula, And so just to have such a leap away from that in itself is great.
I mean, to be fair, in Gen 7 we had the trials instead of gym leaders. In Gen 8 we had the Pokemon League, so to speak. That got revamped. We also had the wild areas and so on. Like, this whole game is a series of wild areas, essentially, but they're much bigger, and I would say they're closer to the Sword and Shield DLC than they are the Sword and Shield base wild areas, which is good. Sadly, there's not really much to explore building-wise or structure-wise. Of course I know what a fucking Pokemon is. I've been playing since, what, Red? My import copy of Red? So happy that fucking Cyndaquil has his flames on by default.
I know, it's great. We've spent so many years with the flames not being there, and as much as I love Cyndaquil and Quilava and Typhlosion, they look a bit crap when the flames aren't going. Like, that's part of their whole design. So to see it back is just wonderful. Actually, apart from maybe some questionable choices with some of the Hisui forms and evolutions that we get to experience, the work that they've done on all the Pokemon is actually really good. There's some amazing kind of shading work and texture work on them that's really kind of brought them a bit more up to date and made them less flat than they were.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's quite exciting because that's not something that I think anybody necessarily expected to happen with this title. I think it was just like they're just going to use the same models and the same stuff that they have done for years. But actually, no, they have gone in and they have done touch-ups, and it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, the colours seem to pop a lot more now. I know I said we'd talk about graphics later. This is minor stuff. We'll get to the, non-art direction bits later. But I believe God just upgraded our phone and gave it a really, really pocket-unfriendly kind of casing.
Yeah, this thing is just gigantic and huge and way over-designed, and clearly Arceus has a god complex.
But if they made official merch of that as a phone case for people's smartphones, people would buy the fucking thing anyway.
Let's not kid ourselves here, guys. The majority of revenue for Pokemon don't come from the games. It comes from the merchandise, all that shit you see in the Pokemon centers and whatnot, all the magazines they sell, all the cards they hawk and whatnot. That's where the real buckaroos lie for Pokemon.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the amount of Pokemon plushes that I have up in my loft from when I was a kid is just unreal.
I miss Another World. Do you remember Another World, Richy?
I don't really know, I don't think so, but my brain is currently fried, so God knows.
It was a store on Market Street in the town square.
Yeah, no, don't remember that one at all. Remember what the old Market Square in Nottingham used to look like, but not really necessarily any of the shops.
The days before the war. Then again, you're all 5 years younger than me, so that might have been just enough time for it to go out of business and be replaced by something else.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Anyway, the TLDR is I got a lot of Pokemon stuff there. That is actually where I got my import copy of Red from, and also my Japanese copy of Silver, which I had to use a import guide to complete. Also my import copy of Ruby. So that's my Pokemon chronology, as it were. Now, here's something that might tickle your fancy. Pokemon are apparently able to shrink themselves down to minuscule size. Is this the same thing as Minimize, the move? We don't know. I'm not sure if it's explained. I've seen a lot of this game. It's not going to be a blind run, but I haven't seen all of it, so who knows? Maybe Lavinton gets revealed to be a kook later on, and he's just speaking metaphorically and doesn't know how the recently invented Pokeball works. I don't know. I don't particularly care. It's a technicality.
You're looking at it in, well, not just you, but sort of the way that we as a collective are looking at it is that obviously Pokeballs have just been invented, so when things are brand new, sometimes you think things are one way when actually they're another. So Lavinton might think that Pokemon are able to shrink themselves down, but that's not the way it works. It's the Pokeballs that do that. equally vice versa. But either way, get to throwing and catching!
Oh, it feels good to do live!
The entire process of catching Pokemon in this game just feels so satisfying, and it's both the gameplaying itself of going up to the Pokemon and seeing how they act, and also the little UI features, like you saw the little animation there with a firework going off, that it just gives you that bit of a buzz when you do it. It feels great.
Oh, without a doubt.
Now, we do have gyro controls. I think I might enable these and see how I get on.
Okay, as you can probably guess, I didn't even consider using those, but each to his own.
But yeah, baby, plish plash. He's very easily amused. What is that thing he's wearing?
I honestly have no idea. It's some sort of beanie, ski cap thing with a pom-pom on it. Honestly, I have no idea. It looks hideous. Lavinton's probably my least favourite design overall of the NPCs.
It kind of gives me a Neverland sort of feel. And I know Tanner said this whole era that Hisui takes place in is essentially the real-life era of when the Dutch came to Japan. I may be, paraphrasing here. You can go look this up on Wikipedia if you want real-life history lessons. But just something to think about, because Lavinton is a foreigner, as we'll come to know in a little bit, so who knows, maybe he's from a future region.
Although, that said, apparently, according to Bulbapedia and all its infinite wisdom, there are hints that Lavinton might be from Galar, actually.
Okay.
Professor Lavinton writes all of the Pokedex entries for this game. So, when you capture Raichu, he mentions that Caparaja that live in his homeland, obviously Caparaja come from Galar. The writing on the blackboard in his office, that you'll get to see eventually, uses the alphabet from Sword and Shield instead of the writing used elsewhere, and also he uses stock British phrases such as jolly good, and in other versions of the game such as German, he will sometimes speak English instead, so that there are indications that he is actually Galarian, which makes sense because obviously his name is based on lavender, and lavender is a pretty common flower in Britain.
Yep, thickets of it everywhere.
Smells absolutely lovely. Not sure Lavinton necessarily smells lovely, but still.
Well, why you gotta do my man dirty so early in this playthrough? He's done nothing to wrong us. He caught a poor isekai sort of boy, yeah, you've convinced me, and let him capture monsters. He's a good guy, Richy, and I won't hear anything to the contrary.
Yeah, well, no, he is a very good guy, and I mean, like, very noble mission of creating the first ever Pokedex. I think I just hold it that stupid hat against him. I think that's literally it.
You're just a Kakui stan, that's all it is.
Oh, of course. I mean, how could you not be?
Oh boy, I don't recall that over the mountain in the present.
No, I don't remember a massive rift above Mount Coronet either.
Thank you for saying the name. I had completely forgotten what it was.
Well, you don't remember that because for some reason Ilka remade Diamond and Pearl rather than Platinum that had the Distortion World Rift at that point.
Yeah, that is very true.
Alright, another full disclosure coming right at you. I got up to just before Rourke, the first gym leader in Brilliant Diamond, and I stopped playing because I was so bored. I'm sorry, the remakes do nothing for me.
That's fair.
They're not great, no. Like, that's its own thing that we'll probably get into when time allows, but I feel like there's a definite benefit to them getting this game out as quickly as they could after the remakes that weren't received too well.
Yes, definitely, and it's something that, say, the Sonic franchise has obviously not had the benefit of having multiple teams working on titles to be able to do such a thing, because this has, I think, on the whole, really improved the general perception of Pokemon within the gaming community again after years of sort of going down the tube quite a bit, particularly say with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. But everyone seems to love this, and that's awesome.
Well, I mean, there was the whole Dexgate thing with Sword and Shield, so the further we get from that, the better, I think.
Well, I think what this comes down to is this is a very creative game, whereas the problem that was shining through, even though some people admittedly weren't the best at articulating it, is that the games were becoming stagnant and the games were feeling like they were doing the bare minimum.
Yes.
So to now have something that's clearly a much more ambitious project, even though you can still see the technical shortcomings, I think people are going to be a lot more charitable towards things like that if there's something here that grips you and you can connect to, which is what especially Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were lacking.
Full 3D camera, not just in the wild area anymore.
I know. Part of it, like, you go into it and just like, this feels incredibly weird, but so right. The only thing that I would say that this game is missing in terms of the next steps that Pokemon really needs to do is voice acting.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that is a big ask. There'd be a lot of lines and a lot of different languages, and that is a massive undertaking. But one, they've got the money, they could totally do it. And two, it kind of needs to happen. But I'm not mad that it's not here just yet. I'm just glad that, yeah, they were ambitious with a title for the first time in forever. It's paid off, and it feels so good to play and so exciting to play. And really, that can help you forgive a multitude of sins.
I'll probably be the odd one out here and say that I genuinely don't mind the lack of voice acting. I feel like it's another thing that complements just the comfy feeling that this game has. I know that's like the weakest, laziest critique possible, but I feel like it's not really something like, if I were to have a big ask for Pokemon going forward, it would be more of this but a bit more technically sound. Like things like voice acting, I'm not that fussed by, honestly.
That's fair.
You say that, but then they, have a scene where a dude is, singing a song and no audio is coming out, just quiet audio ambience and him stamping his foot.
Well, see, that was awkward because it wasn't directed with not having voice acting in mind. There's a certain kind of stage direction when it comes to how you frame these scenes that works either with voice acting or without voice acting, and you need to bear in mind how the final presentation is going to be when you decide how to go about doing that. And Sword and Shield sometimes didn't. That's why it was awkward there. Whereas this, I don't know, like, there's a few things, like, you see the characters' mouths moving, and if you just leave it on the scene, then they just talk infinitely, which is kind of funny, and, like, that's the sort of thing that maybe you could work around. But I feel like this does it much better than Sword and Shield did.
I'm not saying that it's bad that it's not here, it's just I think I would prefer it if it was there, and I think that there's a balance. You can have the voice acted cutscenes and non-voice acted cutscenes. They could figure it out and they could get it to work, and I would be happy. But for the time being, like, that is for me anyway with this game, that is a nitpick. That's not a real hugely valid criticism. It's something I want. It's not something I need.
Mm-hmm. How you keeping track of the ancestors to modern day characters? Because we've seen two so far. We had Silene, the captain. She is Cyrus's ancestor. We have Akari here, which is Dawn's ancestor.
Yep, or I think obviously if you're playing as the female character, then I believe he's called Ray.
Yeah, he is. So that's Lucas's ancestor.
Yes, and I have to say I adore them because they are the sassiest rivals I have ever seen, and their side eye is legendary.
Oh yes, we've seen the memes.
I didn't quite realise how much joy seeing Pokemon characters giving each other side eye would bring me, but for some reason it's just made me so happy. So
what, you guys gonna give me like a gun and send me out into the wild? I mean, I have caught 3 Pokemon. This is apparently enough to qualify me for legendary status around these parts, because everyone's friggin' scared of the things. But, you know, it's a big old world that we live in. Pokemon, etc.
I was about to try and continue the lyrics, but then I was just like, I can't actually remember which one comes next.
I want to say Benny is someone's ancestor, but he just looks like a weird creator character sort of mistake, so your guess is as good as mine, really.
Well, I mean, they do have the character customization, and I feel like some of the characters, they probably had an internal tool that works like that.
Yes. Also, if my understanding of spoilers are correct, we may get a better view of Benny, which might provide better information as to who he is actually the ancestor of.
Ah, okay. I think I know who that is, then. I shan't say a jot right now. Not a jot. I have had my sup, and now I'm going to bed. And hopefully when I wake up in the morning, I'll have fucking Isekai back, because this shit is the pits. There's no Wi-Fi to be seen. Not that you see Wi-Fi. Anyway, shut up.
Well, I mean, you're the only one in the village with a phone, so you have some sort of advantage over them.
And the connection on this thing is nuts. Then again, God is everywhere, I suppose, and so is his internet coverage.
Also, I love how Saline's just like, yeah, if you don't pass the test, you're dead. Like, you can go sod off into the wild. Literally couldn't give less of a shite.
Well, this is a village, obviously, but it's also a stronghold against the wild. This is where people band together to keep safe. It wasn't just a place to live, it was a place to survive.
And I think that's one of the things that also makes Legends Arceus quite exciting as well, is because this is the first time that Pokemon have ever actually felt dangerous, I suppose. Obviously, you've not really experienced that just yet, and you don't get it until you're out in the wild. But, like, coming up against some of them is terrifying. Especially the alpha Pokemon when we come across them. Because they are, like, ridiculously high levels, and they, as I believe I've mentioned already, the game is brutal. So you get sort of that element of why these people are scared of Pokemon, whereas before it's just like the only ones that you might be slightly terrified of are the gods that completely destroy everything surrounding them when they have a bit of a tantrum.
As you do.
Well, it's the fact that the culture is reinforced through the whole game. That's the fact that the common people are scared of Pokemon, and that's such a different, like, that's such a tonal change from the usual series. It kind of feels darker without being edgy, and I kind of like that. They've got the right balance in the game's tone, and the fact that Pokemon are these things to be feared, but it's also played in earnest. And I respect that a lot, actually. It does a lot for the game's just general feel.
Oh boy. Fuck whoever hit that in particular, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I can't imagine they're having the best day right now.
Who took my name in vain? It was me. The Bidoof just shrugs it off.
Bit of a tangent, but, you know, obviously when Bidoof first got revealed and we first saw Bidoof in Diamond and Pearl, it was just like, oh my god, this is like the worst Pokemon ever. Like, this is ridiculous. I hate it. It looks so stupid. And then it's gone on to be one of the cutest little blighters this side of Pikachu, and has been involved in two of the most heartwarming stories that I have ever seen. Specifically, the extra chapter in Pokemon Explorers of Sky, and then the little anime short that they put out, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now, might have been a couple of months ago as the time we were recording this.
Oh, it was fairly recent.
Yeah, just like, Bidoof's amazing, and now I will not have anybody say a bad word about Bidoof.
Well, like the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon designs in themselves, it's such an old topic of discourse now, but I feel like I've become a lot more fond of most of them over time. Like I remember when Diamond and Pearl were first leaking back in the day, and just going on a forum basically every week, seeing what new ones had come out, and it would just be pages and pages of people bitching about how it's ruined. And like, you know, there's some of them that you think like the evolutions of older Pokemon, like Tangrowth still sucks. I'm sticking by that. But a lot of them I've just come to like, you know. But that's the sort of thing that when you see the Pokemon in action compared to just seeing their raw design, or what you used to get of just a silhouette that would get slowly filled in, you know, you sort of grow to like them because you get a bit of personality to them.
Yeah. And I think also, in a way, there's just that sort of sense of time. Obviously, Diamond and Pearl were a long time ago now, and so a lot of people look back on it nostalgically, and even though obviously at the time everyone was just like, oh, worst things ever, they weren't that bad, they were perfectly passable, and now you look back and you think, oh, actually I kind of like them. And even with, because we've had the same reaction, I think basically every generation of Pokemon, apart from maybe Generation 3, I want to say. Like the first 3 generations, I think pretty much everyone was just like, yay, I like these. And then after that, it was just like, no, worst things ever, you can't design, what is wrong with you? Because, you know, the Pokemon fan base can be a bit toxic when it just chooses to be.
All you saying that about Gen 3 just tells me that you weren't reading internet forums in the early 2000s.
I mean, yes, this is true. But we've had exactly the same reaction to pretty much all of the new Pokemon in Hisui. Apart from a few, I think everyone was quite happy with Hisui and Growlithe. And I think Cleavor as well. But outside of that, everyone's gone, oh, they're hideous. Give it a couple of years, no one will care, and they'll go into the whole mix of everyone liking them, as with everything else. So...
Boom. I know who we're picking.
I think I can take a good guess.
Pick it. Pick the one that strikes your fancy, like a match, if you will. Let's see your interest go up, like a blaze. Fire.
You're not very good at this subtlety thing, are you, Tom?
Not particularly, no. I choose you, Cyndaquil.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Oshawott.
Foom!
Oh, I thought you were talking about Rowlet, to be fair.
Yes, I want him to be my first partner. Oh, there's no waddle!
I know, I love Cyndaquil so much, it's just the cutest little thing. And I feel so horrifically bad that it kind of gets screwed over quite a lot in this early phase of the game, because so many bloody things no roll out.
It's very interesting that these early Pokeballs resemble the ones from the 4th Pokemon movie, except more traditionally coloured, as opposed to just like whitish black.
Maybe misremembering, but I think they were actually a lot closer to this design in the Arceus film. Like, when there's the time travel antics in that, I seem to recall there being a traditional Pokeball that looked a lot like these.
I've only seen the film the once, mate, so I'm going to have to take your word for it, really.
So have I, but I remember it being a good film. Like, the Diamond and Pearl films, like that era, were pretty good in general, because they sort of had a bit of a subtle continuity through them as well.
Yeah.
Rather than just being the usual, you know, there's a bit of Ash talking to whichever new character of the day they put in, and then, like 45 minutes, the legendaries just beating the shit out of each other. Which, let's face it, that is most Pokemon films.
Yeah.
Basically.
Can't really think of any that didn't revolve around either a legendary or a mythical, to be honest with you.
Best one is always going to be Pokemon 2000, but I think that outside of the Diamond and Pearl ones, the Lucario film was really good.
I mean, I think I will always have incredibly fond memories of everything from Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, all the way through to Pokemon Heroes. Then it sort of went a little bit nuts for a few movies, because Jirachi Wishmaker was there. Destiny Deoxys, we never properly got. But it was alright. Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, great. Pokemon Ranger and the Legend of the Sea, or whatever it was called, was ridiculous.
That was a film that happened, indeed.
Then, yeah, you had the Diamond and Pearl trilogy, which was actually pretty good on the whole. And then I think after that it was Zoroark.
Yeah, the Zoroark one was still Diamond and Pearl era, but it was kind of detached a bit, and I think, like, I may be misremembering, but I think that was one where there was a version that was heavily cut down for TV, and that kind of cut out a lot of the general feel that the film was going for, so it's like, well done, guys. Good job there.
Yeah.
Look at him!
I didn't really care after that point. But yes, look, it's so cute and you can throw them out and just get to experience them.
You find all these people who are terrified of Pokemon, you walk up to them and throw out your Gyarados.
So, question.
Yes.
Why are you running towards Prelude Beach?
Because I like the sun.
And there's a waypoint on the screen as well. Tell me the reason why modern games are how they are.
Oh, shut up. I'm exploring. This is my first time playing the game, okay?
I know, once you get into the actual Pokemon area, I will be a lot more hands-off, because that's part of the charm of the game. Just walk around and enjoy the Pokemon in nature as they were meant to be.
Oh, hello.
Another ancestor.
Oh boy. Let's play Guess the Person. Oh, I couldn't possibly tell.
Is it blue?
I think it might be green, actually.
Could be Giovanni. Could be Giovanni.
It could be Erica. It's fucking Cynthia's ancestor, of course it is.
Of course.
It's so on the nose, it's kind of funny, actually.
So I do remember that when obviously he initially got revealed, I feel like part of the internet kind of wet their pants a little bit. They were just like, oh my god, he's so hot.
Isn't that every character, though?
I mean, you're not wrong.
We get the Pokegirls, we get the Pokebishies, everyone gets something, honestly.
Vaporeon is in this game, yes.
I'm just going to ignore you and beat Volo's Pokemon into a pulp, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I like that they've kind of redesigned how the trainer battles work in this game. There's not that many of them, but when they do show up, they're just a little bit more difficult than you might expect. Like, obviously, this is just a Togepi for the tutorial fight, but some of these yeah, Tom, you are gonna have to actually fight the Togepi, not him.
I know.
Like sometimes they will catch you off guard by just doing a bit more damage than you would expect for the point in the game where you are.
And it is quite terrifying, actually. I would definitely say that this is one of the more difficult games in the franchise because of it.
Woohoo! Certainly didn't expect it to go down to the wire against a Togepi, but hey, I was able to show off the battle system, and also we can run about in battle. We're essentially controlling the camera with our bodies, and by the way, you get in the way of a Pokemon making a move, it will knock you back. Feel free to enjoy that while you can, because if that happens when you're out in the wild, you will take damage, and if you take enough, you will get sent back to base and lose some of your items, which if you're playing online, other people can pick up Death Stranding style.
Yeah. Although, just as a note, even if you're not playing online, you can still pick up fallen packages. I think they're just sort of randomly populated into the game anyway. Whether those are real peoples or not, I don't know, but you can pick up packages and you can get items from them.
Yeah, that's mainly what you need to do if you need to get the evolution items, which some Pokemon have had their evolution methods reassigned with that in mind, and I am so grateful for that, because one of those evolution items is a replacement for trade evolutions.
Oh.
And fuck trade evolutions.
We don't need it anymore. It's like 20 years on, And we're in the middle of a pandemic, so thank God they introduced that sort of thing. I mean, we do all our training through Wi-Fi now, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's just a lot more convenient. And that's what Legends Arceus does really well. There's a lot of quality of life improvements here.
Legends Arceus lends itself well to being a good single-player RPG. It's not as tied to multiplayer and the whole competitive gameplay style as it like previous games have been, which they've been able to use that to their benefit. And this is another reason why this connects well with me, and the fact that they've been able to flesh out the story and like the story content, which is what I'm personally there for with Pokemon. I can see why some people maybe wouldn't connect to that as well, and I've seen a lot of people saying that this is what Pokemon should be from now on, and I get it, but I also do think that traditional Pokemon gameplay will always have its place too. I feel like these two gameplay styles can coexist.
I mean, they are coexisting. You still have the turn-based battles and whatnot.
Well, I mean, as in like having a more competitive traditional turn-based thing rather than having this. What they've got here is almost more akin to like the active turn battle from like the PlayStation Final Fantasies, in the fact that the actual attacks are turn-based and that, but there's still a time mechanic with it. I feel like the sort of Sword and Shield battle system, given Sword and Shield is still the game that's being supported by the VGC, I feel like there will always be a place for games like that as well as like this. So, like, I want the quality of life ideas that this game brings, like the new UI in particular. I want that to carry over to the next base Gen 9 game. But I feel like you can have normal Pokemon gameplay as well.
Yeah, I suppose the way that I kind of look at it is, if they wanted to continue the Pokemon Legends name through sort of future games, it could basically fill what I was kind of expecting the Let's Go games to fill. Like, obviously, after Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I was kind of expecting them to sort of do an alternate between remaking some of the games in that style along with the mainline franchise. And I mean, I would not have been mad with that, because while Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee had their own flaws, they were quite fun remakes. Not necessarily, obviously, as good as, like, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Those things are just, like, examples of perfect remakes. Same with Heart Gold, Soul Silver. But
I disagree.
Yeah. But that was sort of what I was expecting. And actually, I would be quite happy with, a mixture of a Pokemon Legends game at one point and then a mainline Pokemon game. And I think that could work really well. Obviously, yes, definitely, please, for the love of God, bring some of the learnings over with it. But yeah, I'd be quite happy for them to sort of have a mixture of those experiences, because the problem that Pokemon had was that it was getting stale, because you had the same gameplay style year in, year out, and nothing felt like it changed. Even when things changed, it didn't change. So you don't want to allow it to get stale again. You want to sort of allow for that growth and exploration, and I think sort of having that sort of split would help do that. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Pokemon Legends is doing, I think, phenomenally well in terms of sales. So I think that there is a strong possibility that they're going to want to capitalise on that.
I feel like this has more chance of continuing as a series than Let's Go did, because Let's Go kind of existed to try and bridge the gap between people who played Go and getting them into the main series games. And
Yes.
for that, it served its purpose, but I feel like as a typical single-player RPG, it left a lot to be desired, given it was basically a dummied-down version of a game that's already had a remake, you know? Like, if you're more into traditional RPG gameplay, then you're probably better off playing Fire Red and Leaf Green over Let's Go, but that kind of, like, Let's Go wasn't intended to be a replacement for that. It was for an entirely new crowd. But those crowds they either took the bait and they're now interested in this, or they didn't and they're sticking to their phone, and I don't really feel like there's a need for that. Whereas this has it's carved out its own little spot in the series. This provides something that there's another group of people now who will primarily want this. So for a series like Pokemon that is as flexible as it is, it would absolutely work to their benefit to keep this going as its own thing. But yes, we do kind of need to talk about what's going on the screen, because the tutorial here has had the different ways in which you can engage with the wild Pokemon. So you had the Pokemon that are friendly, like the Bidoof, that you can almost guaranteed catch whenever you run into one. You had the ones like Starly, where you've got the stealth element.
Sorry, Flame, just to interrupt you. Tom, press the ZR button to throw.
Thank you.
There you go. It's either that or you go through items. It's not something the game tells you how to do, even though you sort of should know because that's how you throw the thing anyway. But when you're in the battle, your brain's kind of going, oh, I want to select something. So it would have been nice if they'd explained that, but yes. Anyway, Flame, do go on.
Well, I mean, there is a button prompt at the bottom of the screen, but like it's traditional Pokemon menus, and I sort of did the same thing too. But yeah, so you got the Pokemon that are easy to catch because they're friendly. You got Pokemon that are scared of you, like the Starly, that you've got to be stealthy with. It's that in itself is its own dimension to the gameplay. You got to hide in the grass, not make too much noise. That's really cool. And of course, you got the Pokemon who want the more typical battle them until they're weak and then throw the ball. I feel like that's another reason why I've come to appreciate what this game does, because it's an extra level of character for every Pokemon in the game. That's another reason why I'm more charitable about this not having all the Pokemon here. It's because every single Pokemon that appears in this game has its own fleshed out characteristics. So there's the different styles on how you catch them, but also how they behave on the field as well. Like you get the Pokemon that are more sociable and come up to you. You get the Pokemon that mind their own business. Like it feels like they've sat down and thought about how this particular creature would act in the wild and accurately represented it in game. And there's very little in the way of like, why is he doing that sort of thoughts like you would occasionally have in earlier games, like why is this Pokemon here? Like it just works. It works really well.
It all goes to making the world feel lived in and grounded, and that sort of also extends to sort of all the characters. I can't remember who it was that mentioned it. It might have been an article somewhere, but what the game benefits from is, in previous games, obviously you've had a whole bunch of characters that you've got to spend maybe like a few minutes with at a time throughout the course of the game, but this game sort of, it does still have a big cast of characters. It pulls it right back to a core group that you spend more time with, and because it's sort of this village, you keep coming back to these characters again and again and again, and you develop a much stronger connection with them, and that also goes to making the world feel lived in and grounded, and that this is a living, breathing region rather than just a thing that you get to run around in. And I think that goes a long way to making the game feel fresh and exciting again, because it just feels like a joy to explore, like you're actually exploring a world, which it hasn't felt like for years.
And to add on to that, something that complements that is that, as far as I've seen, every character is named. You don't have like generic guard, you don't have generic hiker. Like everyone in this town, you go talk to them, it's got a name tag for them, and that just shows that this is a community. This is a group of people who all know one another, and that's your setting for this game, for this story.
Yep.
And it just makes the drama feel a little bit more like effective, because now it's like, this isn't just generic hiker man who's scared of whatever Pokemon. It's this person who provides this role in the community. Like, that person is scared of this Pokemon, and when you get the little missions that you get later on, it makes it feel a bit more satisfying rather than just being a fetch quest.
Feels like home, so it does.
Yes. Also, Tom, you need to put on the sandals as well. You've got to put on the sandals, Tom. You got the flip-flops.
I know, I was just showing the foot technology that they've implemented into the game.
Oh, I know, it's stunning and absolutely scandalous. I mean, the feet, like, clutching the pearls.
Jesus Christ, the diamonds and the pearls, all of them at once.
I'm going to very quietly just not say anything.
Yeah, I think you've said enough over the years, Flume.
I didn't make that VP thread that was going... You know the one, because I know you were reading legs too. But I did watch it unfold.
Thank you for teleporting me back here, I appreciate that. I see you've changed. My lack of eyebrows told me this. I use them to divine the present. That's just basic analysis, really. Do I have a hat? Yes, I have a hat!
Of course you have a hat.
My head felt naked without it.
Although obviously you can choose to run around without a hat on, but I agree, like, it feels weird not having a hat on in a Pokemon game.
Getting your hair out for the lads.
Yeah, get it out. This is a big base, Jesus.
It's huge!
It is. There are the different little segments of it, but most of the time when you get called to base, it'll either be up here in the commander's office or it'll be in Silene's office. So, you know, you've got the setting here, but it's not enough to get overwhelming, thankfully.
Now, Tom, who do you think that Kamado is the ancestor of?
Well, it's definitely a professor.
Yes.
It's not Juniper.
No, definitely not.
It's not Elm.
Definitely not.
Oh, I give up. Who is it, Richy?
It's Professor Rowan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Although, to be fair, I kind of didn't quite clock when I was looking at him that it was Professor Rowan, and I think that's just because I'm so used to seeing Professor Rowan with white hair that to see obviously an actual hair colour that's not white just didn't pass my brain of making that connection.
Gave me the Great Ace Attorney special there, did you see that?
Oh, of course. No, that's the Susato special.
I know, I just couldn't remember her name, okay?
Have you finished that yet? Because that's an excellent game.
I'm still on the final case of the first game.
Bloody hell, go finish it!
I've been playing mobile games, damn it.
Someone's got to grind out for his characters in the Sonic Forces game first, you know.
I want his outfit. The drip is incomparable. Also, his shoes look much less stupid than mine.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can sort of get his shoes. Actually, no, I think you can get his shoes, but unfortunately you cannot get his kimono, which sucks.
Look at 5 FPS Abra.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yes, so the thing that the game implements, which is something that is very common, I think, on pretty much all the Switch games, and actually on most games these days, is that they use a sort of differential frame rate for character animations the further away they are from sort of the character that you're playing, because obviously that then means that there is a much lower load on the console for trying to sort of run everything. In most other games it's sort of like maybe like half frame rate, but this game obviously has sort of various ones that sometimes feels like it's like somewhere like 10 frames per second, and it comes a lot closer than you'd perhaps expect it to. But it's not that bad, it just is what it is. It doesn't really detract. You're mostly focusing on the main characters that you're looking at, and they're all working perfectly fine, so...
Oh, Richie, where would we be without you launching into a huge spiel from me saying like 5 words?
Exactly, where would you be? I mean, there'd be like all this commentary space and...
He's doing it!
Is this an ancestor of someone?
Yes, Anthe is an ancestor, although you probably won't remember the name of the character.
It was the butler dude from the Battle Frontier, wasn't it?
Yes, it is Dirac.
Again, if you wouldn't know if you're a newer fan of the series because they remade Diamond and Pearl.
Yes. To be fair, I would not have remembered Dirac's name if he hadn't recently been added to Pokemon Masters EX. To be fair, that's where most of my memory of all of the sort of main important characters throughout the Pokemon franchise is now, because I was like, I remember your face, did not remember your name.
I've been delving into a little bit of that as well. Got some decent rolls. I rolled like a 5-star Burr. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, Berg's alright. But yeah, no, there are a bunch of other much better people out there. Have to say, Lucamine, amazing.
Well, we know who Richy's waifu is.
Oh no, it's basically anything that can hit multiple enemies. Great in Masters EX. Oh god, I've forgotten his name now. The Dragon Gym leader in Sword and Shield.
Oh,
Raihan, isn't it?
yeah, that's the one. Shit, I'd forgotten it as well.
Yeah, he's great. Leon Signasuit's great. Getsis is actually quite great. Basically, yeah, any character that can obliterate multiple at the same time is good in my books in that game. Although, I'm nowhere near as good as I know some people are with knowing what to do.
Oh, shush.
Hey, it's fun and I'm really enjoying it.
We have a paper Pokedex. How about that?
I know.
Okay.
So this is something else that makes Pokemon, catching Pokemon, more satisfying, because you notice that not only is there a spot for catching the Pokemon, but there's different challenges you can fill in, like defeating so many of them and getting them to use a specific move just to fill up the page. And that's something that it's like a constant stream of you did a thing, you get that little dopamine hit of satisfaction from doing the thing. And that's another reason why when I'm playing this game, even if I know that there's a mission to go and do, it's like, just a bit more time, just out in the wilds, just seeing what else I run into, what other little tasks can I tick off. It is one of them games that you can sink hours and hours, and I know some people have just put 60 odd hours into it and they're barely scraping the surface of the actual story. It just lends itself so well to that.
Alright, Beauregard, I'll do your thing.
So this is the other thing that the game adds. It adds side quests in the form of requests. I believe there are a total of 94 requests throughout the game. And they vary from catch me a Pokemon and bring it to me, show me a complete Pokedex entry, to go find something, like an item or a person, or go figure out what this mystery is, please. And it just further adds fleshing out the world and giving people something to sort of make them feel more human, and it just works. I will say though, I think that the ones that show me a complete Pokedex entry are the ones that are maybe a little bit more annoying to complete in the grand scheme of things, because some of the Pokemon are maybe a little bit more hidden than you perhaps might initially think. But it's not the end of the world, and that's literally just a nitpick, because really I enjoy going through all of these requests, and I'm pretty certain that I want to try and complete all of them before I'm done with Legends Arceus, so...
Do I already have a Shinx?
You do, so you can actually do this one right now. I do believe you need to talk to him to then show it. Yeah, what's great is that you don't have to have it in the party. As if it's in your passages, you can show it from there as well, so, godsend.
See the way it turned around there? It actually made an effort. Well, it didn't, like, turn around like it had a proper skeleton or anything, but it wasn't fucking a legendary dog, the MP4, from fucking Sword and Shield.
God.
There you go. I showed you some ears. I will take potions. No time for photos just now. I'm going to go nuts with the catching. And that's going to be the next part, I believe. So, go transition.